Его соперник представляет Россию. His opponent, representing Russia, Sharapudin ATAEV. Supervisor WBA Jesper Jensen.
Дания, Денмарк. Трое судей у ринга оценивают этот поединок. Three judges at ringside scoring this bout. Густаво Падилла, Панама. Чарлерн Праяцап, Таиланд. И Джузеппе Квартароне, Италия. Ваш судья-хронометрист, таймкипер Валерий Фингур, Россия. И с ударом гонга рефери в ринге. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge from Panama, Guillermo Perez Pineda. Представляю вам боксеров. И первым боксеров в черном углу. Introducing to you first fighting out of the black corner. Ему 35 лет, рост 188 сантиметров, вес 79,4 килограмма. Профессиональный рекорд 34 победы, включая 29 побед нокаутом при 5 поражениях. Ladies and gentlemen, he's 25 years old, standing 188 centimeters tall, weighing at 79.4 kilograms. His professional record 34 victories, including 29 big wins coming by way of knockout and 5 defeats. Дамы и господа, он бывший чемпион мира IBF во втором среднем весе. Ladies and gentlemen, he's former IBF Super Middleweight World Champion. Fighting out of Tijuana, Mexico, representing Venezuela, here is Jose UZCATEGUI. Его соперник в золотом углу. And his opponent across the ring fighting out of the gold corner. Боксеру 27 лет. Его рост 184 сантиметра, вес 79,4 килограмма. Профессиональный рекорд 9 побед, включая 5 побед нокаутом и ни одного поражения. Ladies and gentlemen, he's 27 years old. He stands 184 centimeters tall, weighing 79.4 kilograms. His professional record 9 victories, including 5 big wins coming by way of knockout and no defeats. Дамы и господа, он заслуженный мастер спорта, чемпион мира IBA в полутяжелом весе, занимающий третью строчку рейтинга WBA. Ladies and gentlemen, he's light heavyweight IBA world champion and the WBA light heavyweight rank number 3. Двукратный чемпион мира, чемпион Европы и трехкратный чемпион России. He is two-time world champion, European champion, and three-time Russian national champion. Дамы и господа, приветствуйте из Серпухова, Россия, не знающий поражений, the undefeated Sharapudin ATAEV.
Good look, good fight. Okay? Box.
Arriba y abajo el jab, pana, Ahí están un poquito más pesado. Corten la salida. Cabeceo. Abajo, 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 para su confianza. Corta en la salida, panita. Empezar a pegarle abajo. Граница за гвардия.
Да, да, в ту сторону. За задней рукой следи.
Шарап повнимательнее. Задний. Магасу я надо.
Сам. Поднимай, не спеши. Он ходит, пишет. Да в корпус сзади жестко бей. Раз-два прям по животу.
Комбинации стоп чуть-чуть делать, чтобы в движении он находился.
Дал промахнуться справа и откуда атакует.
Шарап плотно стоит на ногах, сам не начинает, его отрабатывает, когда он плотно стоит на ногах. Сам работает, когда он в движении.
Аккуратно, корпус не забывай, корпус не забывай. Не забывай про корпус. О, хорошо.
Право видишь, когда вправо идет.
Следи за
Если
передней
начинает, когда
рукой.
позиционно он стоит, не лезь к нему, только вызывает.
За задней рукой
Если
следи.
когда повел, он и сам взорвался. Когда он в ногах. Вот он пошел, есть он сделать свою работу.
А я говорю, на нога, на ножку. Дергай, раздергай. На ножку.
Отлично.
Левый корпус, левый сбоку обведи.
Джеб, пусти джеб. Вот. Бам, ударил ушел, передней рукой. Внимательно за задний следи. Корпус не забывай. По корпусу тоже бей. Вот.
10 seconds.
Внимательнее, концовка. Следи за задней.
Хорошо. Удары.
Чуть быстрее бьем.
Ой.
Организаторы турнира Винлайн IBA.PRO 19 благодарят медиахолдинг «Майя» и лично Константина Майора за поддержку и продвижение мероприятия. «Майя» – лидер рекламного рынка России по площади медиафасадов, крупная сеть онлайн-СМИ и возможность для продвижения в премиальных ресторанах, кафе и логистике. Благодаря поддержке медиахолдинга о нашем турнире узнали 3,5 миллиона человек. Спасибо, Майя.
Cuando le tira a la derecha, tira a la izquierda también.
Third round, round 2.
Rápido.
Бок.
Порхай, на ногах порхай. Следи за задней рукой. В
Izquierda,
другую
después de la derecha,
сторону, в другую сторону его кружи.
Нет, что нам выливается, надо сделать.
Вот, в ту сторону
Вон,
иди
надо
всё время.
izquierda.
Вот хорошо. А кто руки подальше? Вот. Спокойно в эту сторону идешь. И здесь, дал
Граница
пробовку
гвардия.
быструю. Скорость. Ты намного быстрее. Вот, ты намного быстрее, чем он. Намного быстрее.
Ey. No te agarre, ¿ok? Bok.
Так удобнее. Скорость. Передний, все время передний. Джепом. Пока джепом. Нащупывай его, нащупывай.
Maneja que se crezca. Vamos.
Скорость, Шарап. Скорость. Вот. Внимательнее.
Повнимательнее, подхватывай.
На эту сторону следи, в эту сторону. О, вот туда не лезь. Дай промахнуться, работай. Вызывай. Дай промахнуться, работай. Джеб.
Левый надо больше работать. Впереди надо больше работать.
Передний 2-3, не в один удар. Он один закрывает в ответе.
Хорошо. Вот это нужно. Вот корпус. Шарапудин корпус.
Отвлекай голову. Жестко живот. Не давай.
Да.
Вот.
Передний. Быстро, скорость. Ты быстрее намного. Намного быстрее.
Внимательно.
Ушел. Смещайся. Вот, чуть-чуть там, чуть добавляй, вот. Больше. Левый.
Не оставайтесь, сразу выходи переднюю, вытянутую.
Рам, движение, работу, делай движение. Постоянно на движение, комбинация сходу. Попробуй движение сходу, только 3 удара. Левую сбоку заканчивай.
Хорошо. По корпусу, чуть-чуть корпус нагрузи его. Нагрузи.
После сходу.
30 секунд. Посмотрите, кругом стоит.
Все, хорошо. Левый. Быстрее.
Кого дал?
Двойка, быстрая двойка. Ты примеру. Двойка быстрее.
10 seconds.
Задний следи.
10 segundos.
Задней рукой следи. Все видишь.
Капу дай, потом я дам лед. Да.
Добавляй. Как хищник, понял? Главное тут не пропустить и все. Как ураган один. Я думал, ты его понял. Да.
Segunda fuera.
It's round 3.
So into the start of the third.
Вот, прям над ним, на нем. Ему работать не давай, сам. Ударил,
Radita la guardia, sacándolo. Ya no me lo suelte, pana. Arriba y abajo, combinando. Que se ya, pana, usted primero.
Двойка, да. Как быстро.
Right hand lead there from UZCATEGUI. Wasn't much on it, but it did land.
Сам. Давай, сам. О, хорошо. Сам над ним, как ураган над ним. Как над ним, как туча. Все время. Напрягай. Вот, хорошо. Корпус задний прямой бей живот, жесткий.
Смотри его, в ответ вот смотри. Под правую видишь его.
Вот это ушел, лови его. Слышишь? Он промахнулся, сразу туда атакует. Вот, двойка давай здесь.
Misses with a left hook there at ATAEV, and then UZCATEGUI tries to come back over the top of it with a right hand. Again, these two just looking to try and probe a bit here, see if they can find some gaps. They're pretty much on top of each other, as in punching range all of the time. So looking to carry out a fairly stern up-close examination. No one's really giving the other one any peace, although it's not as though they're throwing bundles and bundles of punches. They're throwing plenty though. Right hand there from UZCATEGUI, I think, just kind of grazed the jaw of ATAEV.
Fichaste, cabrón. Ya lo estás presionando bonito.
Атака, защита, атака. Хорошо.
Good use of the jab there from ATAEV. Nice uppercut from ATAEV. Just dipped off to the right slightly, found the angle. Lead right uppercut there though from UZCATEGUI. Just caught ATAEV as he was about to throw, I think.
Вызывай третий. Нада, ваму. Не успевай тут за ней. Вот, не оставайся, не оставайся. Ударил, выходи по переднюю. Постоянно Джек работает. Джек.
10 seconds. 10 segundos.
Con la boca abierta.
Показал, давай.
No.
And there goes the bell, and it's a decent match, this. But neither one of these two has yet made any kind of a dent in the other. It's early stages, of course. This scheduled for 12, this light heavyweight eliminator, number 3 against number 10. Roughly speaking, eliminators can be made between fighters in the top 15, with final eliminators fighters in the top 5. Of course, it doesn't always work out like that, because the sanctioning bodies are literally allowed to make up their own rules. It's their organisation, they can decide what the rules are, but this an eliminator, not a final eliminator. And number 3 against number 10 very much qualifies. You would see people sometimes stretch that to a final eliminator, possibly, even though you've got a number 10 in there. As I say, they are not hard and fast rules.
Break. Atrás.
Двойка, уже двойка. После любой атаки двойку бей. Дал промах.
Cerradito, mi cabrón. Eso, no estás forzando a pelear. No estás forzando ahí, cabrón. Eso, no le gusta. Usted dijo, no le gusta. Abajo, pana.
He's being a bit more aggressive at the start of the round here as Kategui. Led off a couple of times there with a left hand. He's taken a few punches on the way in, and this is interesting. I think the Venezuelan has decided he's going to try and get after ATAEV a bit here and see what happens. He's had 3 rounds of it. He'll have felt some punches, and I think he is thinking to himself that there's nothing too much to worry about here in terms of power. And maybe it's time to step on the younger man and see what he's got. Wear a few to get onto the inside. If that's the way it has to be, then so be it. Just trying to get low there as Kategui, and then see if he can maybe throw that uppercut. ATAEV. Gets caught by a right hand there. Body attack there from ATAEV. Not much in this round. Not been much in most of the rounds. Good left hand there from ATAEV. But as Kategui took it without any problem at all.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
Final few seconds of the round. Right from the start, though, as Kategui just looked up it a bit there and wanted to finish strong too when he heard that 10-second clapper. Was to ask a few questions of Sharapudin ATAEV here. He knows what he's here for. He knows that he's been recruited as a name for ATAEV to get on his record. He's aware of that. He's been around the block a number of times. back in December 2022, for example, he was in with Vladimir Shishkin, who wasn't at too dissimilar a stage of his career to where ATAEV is now, and he lost that fight by unanimous decision over 12. But he won't have come here to settle for a defeat. If his opponent's going to beat him, then he's going to have to really work for it and deserve it. If he sees an opening, if he feels like there's an opportunity to spring the upset, then he will absolutely take it. Again, just adjusting his height there. UZCATEGUI does that well. Dips down very low there. Slides underneath a couple of left hands. Looking for the uppercut there, ATAEV. Got some purchase on it, but I don't think it quite got through.
Еще атака, атака выше, атака выше. Расстреливай, вот, работай, его не жди, сам работай. Вот, хорошо. Работай, продолжай, Удар на удар, барма. Направо не иди, подготовь. Половина раунда пошла.
Now, look at this category there, just trying to cut off the ring on ATAEV. And ATAEV just trying to measure that right hand. Into the final 30 seconds of round 5. One thing he may well have in mind here, ATAEV, is that he's never done 12 rounds. He's been scheduled for it once, but that fight lasted a couple. His last 2 fights, he's gone the distance of 8 rounds, but he's never done 12, and UZCATEGUI has done it plenty of times. So you definitely want to make sure you keep your powder relatively dry, but I do also feel, and he did towards the second half of that round, like he could be doing a bit more. That's Denis Lebedev down at ringside, former cruiserweight world champion. A regular fixture ringside at IBA events. So into the 6th, as I say, they're scheduled for the full championship distance of 12 rounds, a WBA eliminator in the light heavyweight division. A division that you could argue has got a little bit quiet after those couple of fights between Arthur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. I was lucky enough to be at both of those, and one was in October, one was in February. So having taken quite a long time for that fight to get made, it happened twice in quick succession. They were 24 of the best rounds I've seen from ringside. The skill level was absolutely off the charts, as was the will and the desire. And they were so evenly matched. We got exactly the same scorecards in both fights. One going to ATAEV in the first fight, the second time around going to Bivol, and a third fight at that point seemed an absolute certainty, but that's well over a year ago now, and you just begin to wonder whether that's going to happen. The IBA, in fact, were hoping to get that fight on, but Bivol has had injury problems. He fought against Michael Afert fairly recently. He's now been put together with Callum Smith to defend his WBO, but he's got to have more surgery. So it's been slightly frustrating. David Benavidez, of course, has announced himself, but then immediately moved up to cruiserweight, and the word is that he will come back down to light heavyweight, but in reality he'll go where the biggest fights are. And the longer he stays at cruiserweight, the more difficult it will be to get back down. And he looks absolutely incredible against Sergio Ramirez to take those two cruiserweight titles. An unbelievable performance. In a fight that most people, myself included, thought was going to be pretty even. A really good fight, not necessarily a distance fight, but two well-matched fighters. He absolutely annihilated Ramirez in a way that you do not often see. Good combination there from ATAEV into the final minutes of round 6. When you get those really big fights, you want one of two things, don't you? Ideally, you want a ding-dong for the ages where the pendulum swings one way, then the other, or you want a classic performance for the ages, and that's what we've got from Benavidez. Good combination from UZCATEGUI about 20 seconds ago. ATAEV is coming back with his own work now. This is just beginning to heat up. Good right hand there from UZCATEGUI. Left hand to the body from ATAEV. At 10 seconds, and we'll be at the halfway stage. Touch your gloves. From Venezuela, UZCATEGUI, but been boxing out of Mexico his professional career.
Segunda fuera. Segunda fuera.
So into the 7th. And there's the walkway, the runway to the ring in the back of the shot there. It's a very impressive setup in the VTB Arena in Moscow. A lot of publicity around this fight, particularly when the opponent for Gassiev was Tony Yoka, but it's managed to continue to ride that wave with Yoka withdrawing and being replaced by Peter Kadiru. And of course with Usyk in the run-up to the fight vacating his remaining 3 world heavyweight titles, a bigger spotlight because Gassiev is now the one and only WBA champion. And the WBA have been talking for a long time about reducing to just the one champion per division. They've been talking about it and not doing it, honestly, for far too long. It would be good to see them finally make that step. Boxing can be confusing enough as it is without more than one world champion in each division. Each sanctioning body should have just the one in each division. Good volley of punches there from ATAEV. And UZCATEGUI gloves down, just taking these and beckons him in.
Минута, Шарап. Внимательнее, внимательнее, внимательнее. Внимательнее. Последняя минута.
Final minute of round 7. Good left hand again there from ATAEV. He's been nice and accurate in this round, as UZCATEGUI earlier on played the tough guy, just looking to show him that chin almost, show him how strong it is. Good crunching left hand there from ATAEV. Nice tight left hook. Goes down to the body with the left hand, then chops down with the right. Just clicking up a gear here in the 7th. ATAEV, good to see.
Break. 10 seconds. 10 segundos.
Well delivered right hand there from UZCATEGUI. That's a rapid combination. Left hand to the body and then 2 up top, and that's the point at which the Venezuelan just ushered him in and just took a few shots really. Managed to slip that one just.
No lo sigas, cortan las salidas, pégale abajo y arriba, cabrón. No dejes de tirar el pinche ya.
Segunda, fuera.
A la verga. Jeff, вот так. Usted quiera va a pensar esto, pana. Скорость, ты быстрее.
Now can ATAEV just keep that tempo at that slightly higher level that he set it at in the previous round, certainly in the second half of the round? Because one question you always have of a fighter like UZCATEGUI is that he's advancing in years, he's had a lot of fights, he hasn't been super active, he's obviously in shape still. But how much will you really want it if you're able to turn the screw on him? Because one thing older fighters generally do lose is their gears. They don't suddenly become unfit, but just have the ability to really go with someone if they increase the tempo, if they accelerate. That can leave you. You can go with a certain speed all day long, and it can be a very respectable speed, but it's just that burst where someone surges. If they can just sustain that for 2 or 3 rounds, can you stay with it? That's the question. First of all, ATAEV has got to be capable of supplying that sustained acceleration. If he can, then he can ask that question. Good double jab there from ATAEV. He's got good variety. And he's not having too much joy here, UZCATEGUI, in the last couple of rounds. Difficult really to get the punches off. And this is good from ATAEV. And I think this is proving to be good matchmaking. This is the kind of fight that he needs. What they wouldn't have known would have been how much the opponent would have left, but he's got more than enough, and certainly more than enough pride to really try and give the younger man a contest here.
pegue un putazo a usted y yo. Vamos, mi cabrón, ¿eh? Vamos, mi cabrón, usted puede. Puede, entra en el ritmo que tú necesitas entrar. Cabrón, aquí estamos contigo. Pégale a tu madre, este vato no te hace nada, nomás está llevando los rounds.
Second out. Segunda afuera. Abajo, abajo. Vamos.
And this is new territory for ATAEV. As I mentioned, he's been 8 in his previous 2 fights, but now goes into the 9th round. Looks nice and comfortable. As I mentioned, he boxed at the World Championships in Dubai last December. That's a 3-round format, of course, and he won there. It'd be good to see him leave that format behind, though, to be perfectly honest, because although it's possible to box in both codes concurrently, and has been for quite some time now, it is very difficult to succeed in both. He was hit by a right hand there. I think maybe after the call to stop boxing had come, he's just blinking that left eye. The right hand kind of arced over the top. Or maybe it was a wrist or an elbow or a forearm that caught him. As I was saying, it's very difficult to achieve success in both at the same time. They're just too different. Look at someone like Bakadir Jalolov. It's only now really that he's leaving that 3-round format alone, and he's been enormously successful in it, of course, but his pro career hasn't really gone anywhere, and that is why, in my estimation, that is why. Good left hand there from ATAEV. Nice hand speed up top. Good right hand on the inside. The referee just having a word with ATAEV about just leaning in and using his head just a little bit there. Is UZCATEGUI just showing a few signs here of maybe having had enough, or possibly not being too far away from that? The complaint about the eye, and ATAEV now is looking to walk him down and walk through him a bit. I don't think he's worried about what's coming back from his opponent, and he's going to have to dig in here as UZCATEGUI, I think. Walk straight onto a right uppercut there. Good body attack. Just dips those knees a bit, digs the toes in, just wallops that right and left hand into the midriff. And this is what I wanted to see from ATAEV in the second half, to see if he can just round by round just raise that temperature. He did it again there. Can he keep doing that and really finish with a flourish here? Because I don't know if I'd go quite as far as to say there were distress signals there from UZCATEGUI in that round, but there were certainly signs that he's been made to feel a little bit uncomfortable. And if ATAEV makes it his business to make it increasingly so over the next 9 minutes, then that will start to call into question just how much he really wants to be in there at the age he is. A bit of a shake of the head there from UZCATEGUI. And what's going on there? The referee has come over to have a chat with the corner. That's the scene over in ATAEV's corner.
Round 10.
So is UZCATEGUI up off his stool? I don't think all is well in that Venezuelan corner necessarily. But his pride, I think, will dictate that he does everything he can to carry himself through to the final bell here. Good stuff again from ATAEV. Goes down to the body after being up to the head and then back up to the head again. He's just nice and sharp, ATAEV, isn't he? Again there, jab to the head, down to the body, and then a kind of up jab up to the head again. Nice quick hands. He doesn't appear to have incredible punching power, but I think he punches hard enough. Good jab. Shoots it up from the waist, snaps the head back. Little shuffle there from ATAEV. I think he's enjoying this more and more the longer the fight goes on. Good combination from ATAEV, and then looks to go back down to the body again. UZCATEGUI caught him with the right hand, half caught him. And then in that second flurry, caught him a little bit more cleanly, but I don't think ATAEV is too bothered, to be honest. Trying to work his man over on the ropes. That was a solid right hand that got through. The second one just missed, but not by a lot. Lovely left hand there from ATAEV, and the knees maybe just dipped ever so slightly there from UZCATEGUI. The referee's having a good look at this, and the Russian landing some pretty heavy blows here towards the end of the round. He's finished this round very strongly. UZCATEGUI extremely tough. Eventually the gloves touch down and he goes back to the corner. If I were in the UZCATEGUI corner, I'd be wondering whether he really needs 2 more rounds of this. We saw a good compassionate stoppage earlier in the night. A fighter a mile behind who couldn't possibly win, and that's the situation he's in here. He cannot win this fight. Nothing has happened throughout the course of this fight to suggest that he's going to land something big and turn this around. He's well behind on the cards, and the younger man is getting to him. The younger, very capable man is getting to him. He took some big solid shots towards the end of the round there. The referee was having a pretty close look. He never looked like he was going to go down, but that's not really the point. It's fighters who won't go down who sometimes need saving from themselves. A slap in the corner. He's got 6 more minutes of this, and it's not going to be easy. And I do wonder in these scenarios, at this stage of your life, of your career, what is to be gained by staying in there for another 6 minutes? You proved everything that you could possibly prove already. Minute gone in round 11, and so far everything's gone okay for UZCATEGUI here. I think ATAEV though will ramp it up as the round goes on, and this is proving to be, I think, everything that they wanted it to be for him. He's going to get 12 rounds in here, I would imagine, but in the second half he's looked to push it. He hasn't coasted. He's looked to really squeeze as much out of himself as he can and just lift those levels.
Break.
So heading up towards the final 30 seconds of the round. Is ATAEV going to put his foot on the gas here? Well, there's a good strong looking left hand. And did the amount that he put into the end of the 10th mean that he's needing to take it a little bit easier in this 11th? The fight is all but one. Nice combination there.
10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 segundos, 10 segundos. Sí.
Партнер турнира – главная лотерея страны, национальная лотерея. Игры, в которых выигрывают миллионы. И это можете быть вы.
Viene el último,
Найдите
último.
счастливый билет на сайте IBA.PRO и в мобильном приложении «Национальная лотерея».
Viene el último, campeón.
Final round. Referee just alerting the fighters to that fact.
Segundo. Segundo, segunda fuera.
Round 12, the final round.
Come on, come. Okay, good fight, good fight.
So a touch of gloves between the two, and the 12th and final round coming up. Sharapudin ATAEV, the Russian fighter, in the dark blue and burgundy. Jose UZCATEGUI, former world champion at super middleweight, in the black and gold. And as I said right at the very beginning, the idea here for team ATAEV was that he would be taking some rounds, maybe taking the distance, made to work hard by a very capable, experienced, tough opponent who's been right up there at the top level. And that's exactly what is going to happen. Good right hand there from ATAEV.
Okay.
Good uppercut on the inside there from UZCATEGUI, and then looks to bury that left hand into the body, and did so a couple of times. He knows that the finishing tape is in sight here, and so may well just find a bit of a final wind in this 12th round. Often happens. Doubling up on the jab there, ATAEV, who's shown us a good array of skills. Sharp punching rather than particularly heavy punching. I wonder if that's something that they need to work on a little bit. But he's got the mechanics, that's for sure. Left hand there from ATAEV. But the adjective I would use to describe his punching would be sharp or crisp rather than really heavy, heading into the final minute of this 12th round. It's been a decent watch. And just gets his head in underneath UZCATEGUI's a little bit there, ATAEV. He's shown us a couple of times that he's happy to bend the rules or push the rules. So there goes the final bell. and an acknowledgement of each other from the pair of them. And that was a good 12 rounds, a really good, worthwhile 12 rounds for ATAEV, and that's what it was supposed to be. UZCATEGUI, a very experienced fighter, who's been right up at the top level, and he was always looking to be competitive. He was always looking to try and get as much done as he could, and I'd say towards the end of the fight there, maybe you could argue that ATAEV had put him into his shell, but it took a long time. There was that very strong finish to the 10th round, after which I questioned whether he really needed to come out for rounds 11 and 12, but maybe ATAEV didn't quite empty the tank there, but I don't think there was loads left after that. And the final 2 rounds for UZCATEGUI actually were relatively straightforward, but he's got 12 rounds under his belt there. He's navigated that 12 round distance, which is always a valuable thing to have done. At no point did he look like he really hurt UZCATEGUI, not even at the end of the 10th. He took some solid blows, and it was maybe just a very slight loosening of the knees, but very slight, if indeed it did happen. And I think on that showing we will see this man again, and we may well see him again on some IBA.PRO cards, because they do tend to bring opponents back if they come with the right attitude, which he certainly did. Number 3 with the WBA. This was an eliminator, so it would put him in position to fight in a final eliminator. I don't think beating the number 10 ranked fighter would necessarily move you up in the rankings, but as I said at the beginning, the sanctioning bodies get to decide what they do, and in that regard nobody could really tell them any different, because it is quite simply a case of their game, their rules.
Аплодисменты этим двум боксерам. Итак, по завершении боя обратимся к судейским запискам. Ladies and gentlemen, after the end of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. Судьи Прайд Хаб и Куартарони одинаково оценили этот поединок 119-109. И судья Падилла выставил оценки 118-110. Judges Pride Saab and Quartarone scored the bout exactly the same, 119-109, and the judge Padilla scored the bout 118-110. Таким образом, единогласным решением судей одержал победу, остается не знающим поражений и стал обязательным претендентом на титул чемпиона мира WBA в полутяжелом весе. Your winner by unanimous decision and still undefeated became the IBA light heavyweight world title contender Sharapudin ATAEV.
So ATAEV gets it. 11 rounds to 1 with 2 of the judges, 10 rounds to 2 with the other judge, and moves a step closer to challenging for a world title.
и фото с командой. Шарапудин, ваша команда ждет вас. Фото с командой. Дорогие друзья, вас приветствует исполнительный директор медиахолдинга «Майер» Анастасия Бислинга.
Добрый вечер. ВТБ Арена, добрый вечер. У меня до сих пор мурашки после этого боя. Спасибо вам большое, дорогие спортсмены, за вашу силу духа и за такую волю к победе. Это был очень красивый бой. Спасибо большое организаторам за то, что вот такое масштабное мероприятие было мирового уровня. Спасибо за доверие к нашему медиахолдингу. Мы с удовольствием рассказали на уличных экранах об этом событии. Всем красивых побед и Россия вперед!
Анастасия Бислинга. Дамы и господа, мы